The journey of harvesting 200,000 premium mussels isn't just a fishing trip. It's an industrial ballet performed between nature, patience, and precision. Beneath the waves, these shellfish take years to mature, filtering water and clinging to ropes strung across miles of coastal farms. Above the surface, crews work tirelessly to haul, clean, and package them, transforming something nature made for survival into a $500,000 delicacy. Mussel farming begins with the sea itself. Instead of catching wild stocks, most producers cultivate mussels on long lines suspended in open water. It starts with spat, baby mussels that attach to ropes using natural fibers they secrete. Farmers lower these ropes into nutrient-rich bays and estuaries, letting the mussels grow slowly in the current. For 18 to 24 months, they feed on microscopic plankton, filtering gallons of seawater every day. The cleaner and colder the water, the sweeter the mussel. In pristine coastal zones of Maine, Prince Edward Island, and Washington State, each rope can grow thousands of shellfish, turning a simple stretch of ocean into a living, breathing farm. Once the mussels reach market size, typically about 3 inches, it's time for harvest. The operation begins before dawn. Crews board specialized boats equipped with hydraulic winches and conveyors. They move fast because the tide dictates everything. As the sun rises, ropes heavy with mussels are hoisted from the sea. Clusters the size of basketballs come up coated with barnacles, seaweed, and silt. Workers in waterproof gear cut, shake, and wash the ropes as conveyor belts carry the haul into holding bins. The sound is constant. The clatter of shells, the whir of machinery, the hiss of seawater spraying over decks slick with salt. Each boat can pull thousands of pounds in a single morning. Back on shore, the mussels are unloaded into tanks filled with cold seawater where they purge, filtering out grit and impurities. Quality control is strict. Premium mussels must be uniform in size, tightly closed, and free of broken shells. Any that are damaged or gaping are discarded immediately. Every batch is inspected for health and freshness before it ever reaches a distributor. The economics behind this process are deceptively simple but incredibly precise. Each rope costs only a few dollars to set up, but a single mature line can yield over 5,000 mussels. Multiply that by dozens of lines, and you get the kind of volume that drives the business. On average, a premium mussel sells for around $2.50 to $3 per pound wholesale, with a pound containing roughly 15 to 20 mussels. So when a farm harvests 200,000, that's nearly 10,000 pounds of product, translating to around $500,000 in sales once distributed to restaurants, seafood markets, and export buyers. What makes mussel farming so profitable compared to other seafood is efficiency. Unlike shrimp or salmon farms, mussels need no feed, antibiotics, or fresh water. They clean the ocean as they grow, filtering up to 20 gallons of water a day. That's why marine biologists call them one of the most sustainable forms of aquaculture on Earth. A well-run mussel farm not only produces valuable seafood, but also improves water clarity and supports biodiversity around its lines. Schools of small fish often shelter among the ropes, and seabirds circle overhead, waiting for a stray mussel to fall. But sustainability doesn't make the job easy. Harvesting 200,000 mussels takes coordination, timing, and muscle. Crew members work in freezing conditions, often battling wind, rain, or waves. The lines can weigh hundreds of pounds, and every mussel must be processed within hours to maintain freshness. At the processing plant, the work continues, debissing, removing the fibrous threads, rinsing, sorting, and bagging. Everything is automated but still relies on human oversight. Workers monitor conveyor belts for quality, ensuring each bag meets export standards. From there, the mussels are packed into chilled containers, tagged with harvest dates and locations, and shipped out within 24 hours. Most end up in restaurants across North America and Europe, where chefs steam them in wine or garlic butter, turning a handful of shellfish worth a few dollars into a $30 entree. The profit margins ripple across the entire supply chain, from coastal farmers to distributors to fine dining tables thousands of miles away. Every successful harvest is the product of years of work and thousands of variables: water temperature, salinity, plankton availability, and even storms. A single red tide event or bacterial bloom can wipe out an entire year's crop. Farmers constantly test the water for contaminants and monitor weather patterns to decide when to harvest. Some use drones and underwater sensors to track growth rates. Others rely on old-fashioned intuition, decades of reading the tide and feeling the pull of the sea. There's also a hidden artistry in it. The mussel rope must hang at the perfect depth. Too shallow, and waves will tear it apart. Too deep, and oxygen levels drop. Farmers talk about listening to the ocean, watching how the lines sway, how the currents shift. For them, harvesting 200,000 mussels isn't just a job. It's a ritual, a handshake between man and nature that happens only when the timing is right. As demand for sustainable seafood rises, premium mussels have become a chef's favorite ingredient. They're low in fat, high in protein, and rich in omega-3s. Consumers are learning that mussels aren't just good for the environment. They're also a culinary luxury that doesn't break the planet. That perception shift has boosted sales dramatically. In some coastal regions, mussel farms now rival lobster fisheries in revenue. The $500,000 harvest isn't a one-time event. It's a reflection of a growing global appetite for sustainable protein. Still, the industry faces challenges. Labor shortages, equipment costs, and environmental unpredictability make each season a gamble. Farmers must balance growth with regulation, ensuring they don't overharvest or disrupt local ecosystems. And as climate change warms the oceans, new threats like harmful algae blooms and disease outbreaks loom on the horizon. The profitability of the mussel trade depends on constant vigilance, both scientific and human. Yet despite the risks, the rewards are undeniable. Each harvest is proof that a small group of people, working in rhythm with nature, can turn the tides into a thriving business. For every rope lifted from the water, there's a story of early mornings, rough seas, and quiet satisfaction. The crew watches as bins fill with glossy black shells, each one carrying the shimmer of the ocean. By the time the sun sets, another day's work is done, another piece of the $500,000 puzzle complete. When people see mussels on a plate, they rarely think about the hundreds of hands and countless hours behind them. But out there on the water, where salt air stings the eyes and engines hum against the wind, the process is both brutal and beautiful. Harvesting 200,000 mussels isn't just business. It's craftsmanship born from patience, precision, and respect for the sea. And for the farmers who make it possible, every shell pulled from the ocean is a testament to what sustainable fishing can achieve when nature and human ambition move together in harmony.